Welcome to a new video. Let's take a look at some new malicious compliance stories. The first story is called, I should find another job when asking for a raise. I started working for a small business when I was 20. Fast forward 5 years and I'm practically running the place, with just the general manager and assistant manager above me. The general manager leaves, so the assistant manager takes over naturally. I waited 5 weeks for the owner to promote me to the assistant manager. It never came, yet my list of responsibilities grew and grew. We never hired anyone to take on my role, and we never hired anyone to replace another coworker who had left a few months prior. We are so badly understaffed that it got to the point where, if I didn't show up to work, the only person that could open the business was the owner himself. That was not standard, as he's been semi-retired for 20 years. He only comes in to check on things and pay the bills, about 5 hours a week at his desk. I was currently making $12 an hour. 5 weeks after the general manager left, I told the boss I wanted $15 an hour. Not unreasonable, considering the general manager was making $20 an hour and the assistant manager was making $18 an hour, both with full health insurance benefits. I was not receiving health insurance through the business at the time. Anyway, it took my boss 5 weeks to get back to me. He kept ducking me. If you're keeping track, it's now been 10 weeks since the general manager left and I still don't have a raise. When we finally have our sit down, he offers me $14 an hour but promises to give me a raise to $15 in a year. I explained to him that $15 an hour was more than fair, considering I don't need to be on the health insurance plan. He said the business was doing badly and that's all he could afford. For the record, the business was doing poorly compared to the previous year, but $75,000 or so had just cleared up on his payroll. I told him Walmart is hiring cashiers for $13 an hour, Target for $14 and another local supermarket chain also for $14. I flat out said, why would I want to keep managing a business for $14 an hour, when I can stock shelves at the grocery store for $14? He kept his cool for the most part but was visibly upset. He said, look, we just don't pay that much here. If you want to make that much, then go work for those people. Malicious compliance it is. Okay, you got it. I gave him an extremely generous 60 days notice. I needed to save a little more and I didn't want to leave my coworkers hanging. I also wanted to see if he'd budge. He didn't. During this time, I expected to train new employees. It never happened. He never hired anyone. Fast forward a few weeks after my departure, the boss himself has to work part-time to make up for my hours. He's now clocking in 20 hours a week, after going 20 years without working a 9 to 5. My old coworkers tell me he's miserable. I feel kinda bad because at the end of the day, he was a nice enough person, but I'm not going to let myself get taken advantage of. Anyway, they called me just a few days ago and wanted to know if I wanted to work the summer, our busy season. I explained that I have 5 years of experience in this field and left as an acting assistant manager, so if you want to hire me seasonally, you're going to have to pay me $17 an hour. The manager told me they couldn't afford that much. I said if you want to hire a high school kid for minimum wage during the busy season then go for it, have fun training them. If you want to hire someone with years of experience that is already trained you'll have to pay me $17 an hour. He never got back to me. I'm currently making $18 an hour at another small business. Maybe you shouldn't tell a valuable employee to find another job when they ask for a reasonable raise. Their loss. The next story is called, Not Allowed to Clean When Customers Are Nearby. I work in a place where no kids are allowed. It's essentially an adult gaming experience. These places usually are owned by a large group of people, usually related. And I can't specify what kind of place I work at, since it's against my policy and I'm paranoid. I clean up after messes. I don't mind it. I get paid good money to sweep up popcorn, clean toilets, and dump ashtrays. Where I live, it's a good chunk of change to bring home just to clean. A few weeks ago, I was sweeping the floor, as I had already cleaned most everything. I have one headphone in, as is allowed by the company, and just focus on my job. I am hard of hearing, so I put the headphone in the ear that barely works anyway. I can still hear the music somewhat and still listen if someone is talking to me, so I've never had a problem before. While sweeping, I admit the first time I was a little close to a customer. Ma'am, don't sweep near my feet. I don't like that. Me in my best customer service voice, I'm so sorry. I will work on keeping my distance next time. She doesn't reply, so I just assume she's very into her game. I start going around the other side and sweep up a big pile of ash another customer left. Just minding my business and ready for my first break already. Note this time, if she tried to kick out or point her toes, she wouldn't even be able to brush the broom even a little. I just told you not to do that. I'm so sorry. I thought I was far enough away this time. You lazy workers make me so damn mad. I'm in a bit of shock as I've never had a customer talk to me this way in my current position. I actually get called over to clean up while a customer is at a game because they think it brings them luck. I don't want to rock the boat anymore, so I just say sorry again and leave it be. I make my way to the other side of the building and start cleaning there. I always think it's cute when some people see me sweeping and they raise their feet to let me get under them. It reminds me of when my mum used to vacuum and we would raise our feet so she could get under us. I consider it is very polite that they do this. After doing my rounds and cleaning, I keep a smile on my face, as there are a lot of customers on this day and they find me most approachable, as I am one of the only females on the floor. It's very normal for them to search out one of us to help them with stuff. Why they do this, I have no idea. The upset customer sees me continue sweeping and smiling and it drives her insane. I hear her literally yelling at the store manager for a few minutes and I get called over after the customer storms out. The manager said, "I just had a complaint that you were swept too close to a customer. We're going to pull camera footage and most likely give you a point." I admit I was close the first time, but I can even show you exactly where I was the second time. I wasn't even close enough to touch. Well, she is married to a wealthy man here and they own several businesses. And she has family on the council. At this point, the store manager is looking at me like I should know who this woman is. I'm new to the area and don't know many of the members from around where I work, but I also know this is a bad sign. Others have been fired for less than upsetting a council member's family member. The system is very corrupt, to be honest, but there's nothing anyone can do. From now on, you don't clean near any customers at all. I'll draw up your point sheet and get started on it for you to sign. I am livid at this point, but just nod and go to clean the bathrooms. I have never received a point or customer complaint in the 5 months I had been working there, and now suddenly, my job is in jeopardy for doing my job. After the footage is reviewed, they admit I wasn't too close but point me enough that I have to really watch my back or I will get fired because your voice was super condescending. Compliance mode activated. I required a copy of my write-up as it has the exact reasons why I was pointed and I can cover myself. There's even a comment section where the manager can write off what they have told me to do to fix my behavior. She added that I force overtime by clocking in early and late and she just stands there and time steals without working those hours. I stop coming in early and start refusing to stay late. She also states that I am going out of my job description and to no longer do anything that isn't specified in the handbook for my job. I circle this part heavily. While it's not in my job description to help customers or get them refreshments, I do it anyway. Now, I have a few days where I am the only cleaning person at work because we are a small business. It's not bad and I love those days, as they go by faster. These days are also some of the days we are packed with customers. I'm honestly surprised this only took a few weeks before they tried to point me again. Because of where the gaming machines are set up, there are long stretches of the floor that I am no longer allowed to touch. There are trash cans near a few of the most popular games, so I can't even change the trash. It doesn't take long for ashtrays and trash to overflow. The floor is absolutely covered in popcorn, food, ash, soda spills, and cigarettes. Per my store manager, I can't touch any of it because it is near a customer at all times. I keep myself busy throughout this time, doing things I normally don't have time for. I'm wiping walls down, cleaning every single window, scrubbing the floorboards, and even managed to get to a few ventilators and get the dust out of them. Not once was I near a customer. They start to complain, as the other employees that are supposed to get the popcorn and soda while the game doesn't do rounds on the floor as often as my job allows me to. Since I am not allowed to clean near the customers, I have no reason to go near them and I don't help out. Now I let my compliance slide for a little bit when it comes to the elderly customers that can't get around so much. A few of the ones that know I'm hard of hearing will even sign to me across the store to get my attention and I go over to help. And a few of them have asked me why I'm acting so weird. Little did I know, most of them had family on the council as well. One of the women who are there every day even laughs and tells me she would do exactly what I'm doing. At the end of the week, I'm called in by one of the best managers we have. He's just an hourly manager, so he doesn't have a stick up his rear. He just tells me to be careful and cover my behind. The second week rolls around and I'm running out of extra cleaning to do. Everything is very dusted down every day, the walls are spotless, windows clean, and the bathrooms are just perfect. I'm honestly proud of what I have achieved in this time. The morning cleaning crew has been complaining day in and out. Even though they show up 3 hours before opening, cleaning the filthy store in the morning isn't really in the time allotted for them. The grass starts to get overgrown, the lot is filthy, the break room is a mess, and the floor is starting to stain from spills being left all night long. One of the daytime cleaning supervisors asked me what's wrong, as my normally spotless floor is so filthy in the morning. But once I explain what has happened, he is more upset I'm one shot from being fired than anything else. My job isn't easy, but I get paid well. So I don't call in and show up early to help the morning guys out a lot because they have a lot more to do than I do. Finally comes the day my store manager shows back up and she's mad. I'm cleaning the Coke machine when she pulls me into the office to give me another write-up. It's not enough to fire me. In fact, it's half a point away from me being fired. She had my direct manager all the way from the main office and the big boss over all of us in the room with her. I let them go through their spiel about how disappointed they are in me and how my job is very easy to do. They can't believe I've been wasting my time on useless cleaning. Apparently, it's my fault a few of the gaming machines are down for repairs, as I didn't clean up soda spills fast enough and the liquid got directly into the machine. They say many customers complained that they didn't have someone they could call to cater to them. I get yelled at for not serving excellent customer service to them. The big boss even states the fact that he wants me fired right now, but my direct manager has saved me. He reminds me that we live in an at-will state and I can be fired for firing the wrong way at this point. After they're done shredding me to pieces and I'm damn near tears, I whip out the original point sheet and slide it to them. I open my handbook and turn to my job description page and slide that over as well. I quietly say that per the handbook I'm not allowed to hand customers anything, as I have the wrong job code for it. I have just been doing what I've been told and staying away from the customers. They can even check the cameras. They get quiet. My direct manager gets mad. He tells me to take the day off and that I will get paid for it. Unfortunately for them, it's a day I work by myself. Fortunately for me, it's before my days off, so I get 3 days off in a row. When I get back, I'm told my points have been wiped and I'm back to 0. I'm supposed to disregard any write-ups I have received and do what I normally do. I essentially get told that I have free reign of the floor to clean it how I see fit. While I have been happy at the result of my actions, I feel bad that my store manager was demoted to hourly. I, unfortunately, see her a lot more now and she pointedly takes pictures of messes before I can get to them. I'm already planning on putting in my 2 weeks as an old boss offered me my job back plus my original raises. It's a $1 pay cut, but I'll be the acting manager a lot of the time, and to me, that's worth it. My direct manager also offered me a raise to keep me. But I no longer want to work somewhere so toxic. I know I'm lucky that I can find jobs fast, but I'm gonna miss the sweet paycheck and benefits. I think she should get out there as fast as possible. What do you think? The last story is called Customers Want to Sell Pirated Discs? A bit of context. A while ago, I worked at a second-hand electronics and games shop. A usual workday included selling a few games, tidying up and restocking shelves, sometimes buying or exchanging games and electronic devices that customers brought in. It's not great pay. In fact, it's practically nothing. But it's enjoyable. Most people who work there get along well, and we can usually have a good laugh most days. The only issue is the local manager, who looks after this particular branch, who is really obsessive about some things, but extremely lazy about others. He's a real micromanager, obsessively focusing on what you do, just waiting for you to slip up, but also not willing to put any effort into sorting real problems out. Not at all a pleasant person to be around, not that he's around much. He's not a real team player, and trying to talk to him is like drawing teeth. We've tried getting to know him better, see if we can get on his good side. I think he said he used to drive paramedics about or something. Whatever, he's not an ambulance driver anymore. He's now a manager here, and we're stuck with him. Anyway, I digress. Things were running smoothly, and we've developed a bit of a method so we can get the essentials done quickly, leaving us a bit time to peruse the games and DVDs customers have sold to us, but haven't yet been restocked. This is when we noticed the problem. There were a few pirate DVDs in amongst them. Now, I don't mean pirate in the sense of the rum-swinging brigands, I mean the fake, non-genuine discs. Obviously, this is a massive issue, because we can't be selling these to the customers. I'm not sure about the legality, but the customer will notice they are fake and will not be happy. We checked to see when these discs came in, and which member of staff was responsible. Turns out it was the manager. I don't know whether he was just being lazy, or if he was being willfully incompetent, but he didn't check and ended up buying the fake stuff the customers brought in. None of us really relished an opportunity to speak to him, so I ended up getting stuck with the job of telling him when he arrived in the afternoon. He never showed up in the morning because he never wanted to sort the shop out, leaving that to us. So when he came in, I tactfully tried to mention that he may have overlooked the discs and accidentally made a mistake, but he wasn't having any of it. He denied they were fake and told us to stock them on the shelves. When I tried to protest that they were obviously fake, he went berserk. Slamming his hand on the counter, he told us to never mention the fake discs again and to accept anything the customer brings in. I'm mad, he's going off it for no reason, and not listening to anything I said. So I bit my tongue and agreed, then went to speak with my co-workers who were listening in. Here's where the malicious compliance came in. We decided we would follow his rule exactly, taking in everything the customer brings in, whether it was real or fake. Any copy disc brought in, we paid the customer the full amount and put it pride of place on the shelves. I don't know if word got around, or if my co-workers were taking advantage by bringing in their fake discs, but soon the shop was full of dodgy copies. Most the games wouldn't work, something to do with consoles being able to tell a fake disc from a real one. Something a machine could do that our manager apparently couldn't. Customers were irate, they weren't buying these fake things, and people kept bringing discs back for refunds. After a couple of weeks, the sales were low and the returns were high. Getting wind of this, the regional manager decides to pay a visit, and when she sees all the copy discs on display, she is absolutely fuming. When he eventually decided to turn up, she called him into the back office and shut the door. Now, we couldn't hear what was said, but we did hear yelling. After what felt like hours, he exited the office, went out the building, and we never saw him again. The regional manager came out a little while later, helped us get to take down all the fake DVDs and games. She came back for a couple days, to help with managing the store while a replacement manager was looked for. Last we heard of the local manager, he got a job as a janitor at an internet cafe. Not that we cared, we ended up getting this nice lady as his replacement, who actually helped out about the place and listened to any concerns we had. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please consider subscribing to the channel for more content. Let me know what you think about the stories in the comment section below. Have a great day. Bye bye.